Welcome back to another episode of Crowd Control. We are going to be talking about, again, a lot of crowdfunding campaigns this week. Some that are just about to launch, just one, but a big one that is currently running and has been running for about a week. And then another one that's actually a little further out into the future.
Yeah, we're going to be doing something a little different here
on
Crowd Control, a little bit of a countdown. But before we do, let's talk about what launched last week. And this one was Terraforming Mars.
Prelude 2.
Well, I think the campaign is actually just called More
Electric
Terraforming
Boogaloo,
Mars.
I think is what it was called.
It's a bunch of Terraforming Mars content, but yes, Prelude 2 is probably the big draw. If you've played Terraforming Mars and you haven't played it with Prelude, go play it with Prelude.
Get ready for it to be Preludier. It's 2 times the Prelude.
It's 2 times the Prelude. So Prelude speeds the game up a little bit. It gives you a bunch of stuff to start with. It gives you these cool Prelude cards. But that was like one of the first expansions that ever came out for Terraforming Mars.
It was one of the best expansions.
Well, yes, for sure. But there's been so many other expansions that have come out since that the Prelude cards didn't interact with at all. So now we've got a new set of Prelude cards that are going to interact more. If you're using certain expansions, you'll actually have Prelude cards that might give you some benefits from those expansions. So that's a huge draw already. More Prelude is good. But then, also the Automa.
Yeah, there's a whole solo mode coming from David Turtsey.
The king of solo modes.
He knows a thing or two about solo. But also, they have these cool neoprene mats.
A ton of mats.
That have like all the different planets that have been available. And on the mats, I don't know how big these mats are.
And they're going to have to be huge.
But the campaign page says there's basically all of the expansion content is on all of the mats as well. And so that's a lot of stuff.
It is. I mean, that's like the crisis board and all the different planets you can deliver to, the outposts or whatever. Yeah, that is a lot of content on a map. People have been asking. I mean, people have been going and printing their own Terraforming Mars playmats.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just like they did with the player board. So it does seem like they're listening to what fans are looking for, what fans are already doing, and just providing that to us. So there's a ton of different playmat options. But like you said, all the different planets that have been released.
Yeah, and maybe, just maybe, this might be the last thing for Terraforming Mars.
I feel like I said that when the big box came out. I said, this may be the last thing.
It typically is when they do a big box.
I hope that this stuff, I mean, the playmats, obviously, but I hope that the Prelude and the Automa are designed to fit in the big box. I mean, because there was still some space in there.
That would be problematic if it isn't. I think this should be the pin in the end.
You think so?
Yeah, next thing, next stop, terraforming some of the other planets.
Well, we're going to terraform Pluto.
Whatever.
But we do have Terraforming Mars, the dice game, coming, and I'm sure there's going to be more Ares Expedition in the future.
Probably.
So we're definitely not done with Terraforming Mars.
Although there's plenty of that too. Terraforming Mars probably is not going anywhere. But if you want to check out this new campaign, go check it out.
Yeah.
The next one we wanted to talk about is Mythic Mischief.
Mythic Mischief.
Mythic Mischief. We often mess it up.
Oh, you're not wearing your Mythic Mischief hoodie today.
No, I do have a hoodie that I just love. Not because it's Mythic Mischief, but I do love that hoodie. No, Mythic Mischief Volume 2 is launching.
Yep.
We're going to actually have some content on the channel, full disclosure. But we wanted to mention it here too. This is basically just what it says, Volume 2 of the game. It plays just like the original game. You can sort of mix and match. Yep. It comes with a new board, and instead of a Tomes Keeper, it's a Groundskeeper. Yeah, instead of bookshelves, it's like a hedge maze.
You're outdoors in the hedge maze instead of indoors.
And it comes with, at least as far as we know, at least 4 new factions.
Yeah, so I remember back when we did, I don't know anything. I don't know anything. I remember they had the 4.
Nothing.
They had the 4 that they showed, and then they did release like 2 special like stretch goals.
Yeah.
So maybe there could be. I really don't know, but we've seen 4, and I think that's the draw with Mythic Mischief. Is the gameplay might be the same, but each faction interacts with that gameplay so differently that it does feel like you're playing a brand new game, honestly.
Yeah. So take a look for that one. And then the last one that is launching this week also is Flock Together. And I got to tell you, interesting story. I happened to see this at a little booth in between the halls at Gen Con.
What a weird place for this game to be.
On the last day. This is a one-guy show. I mean, probably has some people around him supporting him, but he did everything on this game. Well, he didn't illustrate it.
He didn't illustrate it, yeah.
What he did is made a lot of good decisions. He's got Andrew Bosley illustrating it. It's called Flock Together. It's right here behind us.
We
it's
actually
got these
do have a
adorable
prototype.
Animals. You're chickens in a chicken coop trying to fend off all of these sort of predators through the seasons. It's a cooperative sort of survival game. You're having to fight off some of these guys. It's got a lot of really fun names. Like all the chickens are named like
General So.
General So. Like they're all chicken puns, which is great.
Yeah.
And all of the production for a first time publisher.
Oh yeah.
It is crazy how well and he's made the perfect decision so far.
Just the gameplay looks really cool, and even just the presentation. Everything comes in little books, and I love having little spiral bound books. And like as things level up, you're turning pages. I like that. That's a really cool little touch. Like we've seen that before. Instead of using just decks of cards, I really like this system.
Yeah, it's interesting to see a game like this coming from a first time small publisher. Trying to do everything right. Even their trailer, which I think they dropped last Friday, which I'm sure we're showing footage of right now, is top notch.
Yeah, the trailer is incredible. I mean, I'm sure he didn't do the trailer himself, but he definitely put a lot of love. Maybe he did.
Again, he probably signed up the right people to do the trailer too.
Now, this is one we wanted to talk about this because I really do hope that this catches on. I mean, word of mouth is so important when it comes to a game like this, especially when it is an unknown.
And we are going to do a little bit of content. We haven't played it yet, but we're going to play it like in the next day or so and get some content, hopefully in time for their campaign as well.
All right, and then we're going to do our little countdown. But before we do, we're bringing in, again, our very own Jeremy Howard to talk about some games that have been delivering.
So it's that time of year where Kickstarter's insane, all right? This month is just going to pull from your pockets all over the place. But don't forget, you have some really, really big games delivering right now. And here's just a couple of them. I have some more in the car that I was going to show you today. So Resident Evil from SFG. Dice chucker campaign type game. Actually, you don't have to do it as a campaign. You can do it as a sole survivor. You can do all kinds of stuff in this game. This is one I covered, and I'm really excited to actually play in its final form. You got Forsworn, the big game, my solo co-op game of the year last year. Some of you are finally going to get a chance to play this. Trust me, you want to go all in on this. At least play 6 games of it. Solar 175. I only bought this because Ryan sold me on it, and I wanted to do the preview for it. I can't wait to play this one. And last slide, I know backers are about to receive this. I played it again last week. I think you're in for a treat. Stay tuned for my coverage on this one, but we have so many games delivered. Play those games. Maybe I'll have to warn you again at the end of the month. Maybe I'll have to warn you again. Play the games that are coming, man. Try those out, see if they work for you, and then if they don't, okay, have at it. Back like crazy. All right, take care.
Yes, and the next thing we want to talk about isn't delivering right now. In fact, I'm not sure when it's going to be delivering because it's not even going to be launching for a little bit. This is Marvel Dice Throne. I don't know what the name of the campaign is going to be, but if you're a fan of Dice Throne, you've seen that they announced Marvel Dice Throne X-Men.
Yes.
Then they announced Marvel Dice Throne Missions, which is sort of a new co-op aspect of the game. The campaign is coming on October 17th, I believe, if I'm correct. I'm sure if I'm not, Ryan's correcting me somewhere with a little text call out. But the big reveal just a couple days ago was the first couple characters that they announced, and those were Wolverine and Psylocke. Again, once they announced X-Men, everyone was like, oh boy. It's what the Dice Zone community does, is whenever they make an announcement, everyone's like,
guessing.
Oh,
I mean,
who's it going to be? Who's it going to be?
I feel like Wolverine was a pretty solid
if you're going to do
guess
X-Men,
for doing X-Men. And of course, like we've got Brawler Wolverine, and then Psylocke is an interesting choice, more of like the psychic fighter with the blades, and then like I want to see that Ninja and Psylocke face off against each other.
Yeah, they're really, really cool. I mean, just like a lot of the former Dice Zone stuff, I'm sure you'll be able to mix and match. So you can have some interesting matchups. But yeah, we hope to have quite a bit more content between now and during their campaign, after their launch of their campaign. But we wanted to take some time on Crowd Control to kind of have a little countdown because we're kind of excited to see all this stuff as they trickle it out over the next few weeks.
Yeah, so we'll be back next week with another episode of Crowd Control and probably more character reveals from Dice Zone Marvel.
Maybe.
Hopefully once a week.
Yes, I'm sure, plus all the other crowdfunding things that are going to be going on. We'll cover it right here on Crowd Control. Until next time, though, make sure everyone has fun at the table, and we'll see you then.